Hello everyone, today we're checking out Oceania Reefz at 181 Upper Paya Lebar Road. Conveniently located just a stone's throw away from Tai Seng MRT that way, it's exit A. We're here today because we checked out a really nice Vietnamese cafe just down the road, so remember to check that out too. In the meantime, let's go and check out the fish shop. So just like their name says, they're a reef and a marine aquarium shop only, so let's go and check it out. So my favorite thing about doing these shop tours is checking out all the display tanks. Display tanks are really what draws customers into the store, and it still works on people like me. Who doesn't like looking at a wonderful mixed reef tank? This is probably one of the hardest reef tanks to maintain, having a mixed reef, because that's what draws us all into the hobby, having everything all at once in the same tank. So this tank really features that. Lots and lots of fish who are all afraid of the camera right now, but they weren't afraid of me earlier. SPS corals, LPS corals, a clam or two, and softies, and even some mushrooms. This really is the whole salad bowl of the reef keeping hobby, and that's what often gets us into that. Even we started out having the ambition at least of having a mixed reef tank. It didn't quite work out because we got a little bit lazy, but it's lovely to look at this. And come take a look at some of the specimens that you have inside here. There's that intense magenta looking, I think that's a millipora over there. Who doesn't love the giant elegance that you see over here? It's got really nice polyp extension, looks almost like an anemone. And there's also some more fashionable items inside here of late. So there's a few jawbreaker mushrooms, there's a bounce mushroom, and even the fish, some of them are quite cool. Like there's this gold nugget maroon clown as well, that's hosting an anemone there. There's a goniopora that, you know, long ago used to be really difficult to maintain in captivity for any period of time, but this one's doing really well, and I've been told it's been here for many months. And even some of the nice SPS there. There's a nice smooth skin deep water SPS that's absolutely thriving back there. Nothing makes me happier than to look at a tank like this. So we're in the fish section of Oceania Reefz, and you can see there's a whole bank of reef tanks that goes right down the wall over there. There's plenty of fish, and I understand they'll let you test them out to show that they're feeding on pellets if they are already. I find pellets very convenient because, you know, I'm lazy. I also noticed that they bring in the fish at a relatively small size, which is quite good. This is the preferred for a lot of hobbyists here in Singapore. If you look at the tanks and some of the butterflies up there, they'd all be quite suitable for a 3-foot size tank, and they won't look out of place. And generally hobbyists prefer to get fish in at this small but not too small size, because that's when they adapt best to reef life. So right up front here you can see there's lots of tanks in this tank, including the mimic tank. That's not something you see so often, as well as rabbit and butterfly fish. And down here you've got a whole bunch of blue hippo tanks or blue tanks. Again, they're in that relatively small, about 3.5 inch size, which a lot of people prefer because they tend to adapt very well to tank life at this size. Let's go and see what else they have. And I like how they've got all the prices clearly listed up here, which makes it really easy and transparent and avoids the awkwardness of asking how much something is. So you can see they've actually got random inverts in the tanks as well, in these little isolation boxes, which is good because it shows that they aren't coppering the tanks. And once again, you can see the fish are generally really healthy. I really like these blood shrimp, but I think they would kind of disappear in a tank like ours. So another thing that's really nice about this store is, you'll notice from the video hopefully, is that the tanks are really clean. You think that about the fish tanks, but wait till you see their coral tanks. Everything is like spotless and bare bottom as well. Of course, this makes it easy for them because they get to siphon off any uneaten food, but the fish are really healthy, and as you can see, they are a little bit afraid of the camera. They were very responsive to me earlier because they thought I was going to feed them, or perhaps I've already fed them too much. Let's check out their corals as well. So once again, you can see how neat the tanks are laid out. There's a couple of invert tanks behind me with your various sea cucumbers, snails. I see a hermit crab, and of course, because Chinese New Year is coming, they even have abalones. And if you head this way, you can see some of the LPS corals. I really love how they've got so many of these orange plate corals that are in various sizes. In front of me, we have a few mixed tanks. Again, lots and lots of the orange plates and clove polyps. I can never keep clove polyps alive, but they're really nice to look at, especially the golden or orangey ones that they have. Lots of LPS that you see over here, the open brains, another thing that won't do well in my tank thanks to our angelfish. Let's check out some of the corals over here. These are really nice, and they used to be very fashionable at one stage. A lot of these scolemias and cinerinas, and they're in really nice colors as well. Check out this, I think it's the bleeding apple or something like that. I can't remember what these are called, but really nice. More for us to look at rather than have in our tank, because again, the angelfish will probably whack them, and that will make a very pricey meal. I like how apart from the fanciful corals, this store has a lot of good corals for beginners. A lot of the underrated corals like the pearl bubble that you see over here, Physogora, both in the green and in the beigey color, and also as Pectinia. That's another really nice LPS coral, perhaps less fashionable, but very easy to take care of. And good for any beginners who might be interested in starting into this hobby. I like how the tank is laid out nice and low. It allows me to take a look at the coral from above as well as from the side view. A lot of the coral colonies are actually quite large, which I think is really good because I prefer slightly larger. I think they establish better, and that's really nice as well. There's some really cool things inside here. There's a few red gonios, and behind us they have a nice collection of euphyllias in the various colors, and chalices as well. So lots of stuff that was quite fashionable, and it's nice to see a whole range of LPS corals, especially here in this store. Something pretty uncommon among local fish shops in Singapore is having a dedicated anemone tank like you see over here. They've got lots and lots of anemones inside here, and special little gravel baskets for those that prefer to bury their foot in the sand. They have quite a few different morphs of the bubble tip anemone, including this golden one over here that's really quite special. There's a few Heterectis crispa or seabay that you see over here, and long tentacle anemone Macrodactyla doriensis, as well as lots of different types of mushrooms which are essentially very closely related to the anemones, and some rock flower anemones, which are great because they come in a color that's very, very bright and they don't move around too much. Really good for nano tanks again. And I even see some really small tube anemones, again really good for nano tanks. So they've got a really nice fowler tank. They've got so many angelfish inside here, and they're more or less living in peace and harmony, unlike our tank at home. Their angelfish look so healthy, unlike our fish at home, which looks like a war veteran. The boss is going to do some feeding, and you can see the fish are getting really excited, and for once the fish are not afraid of the camera. Come, let's try and feed them. Like most local fish shops in Singapore, Oceania Reefz is also well stocked up with dry materials. They sell everything from salt to rock to frozen food, both dry rock and artificial rock, test kits, and all the things that you need to keep your fish tank running. Make sure you check out Oceania Reefz during your next local fish hunting expedition. And remember to like, subscribe, and comment, because that keeps us motivated. We are local fish hobbyists and we don't actually get sponsored or paid. So please remember to motivate us through your likes, subscriptions, and comments, of course.